I will teach you a very simple 4-step strategy that you can use to win way more chess games. The first step of this strategy is the easiest. This is where we are going to play through the opening and we only have one goal. And this is to follow the opening principles and also to castle as quickly as possible. So what does this mean? Well, we want to put a pawn in the center. Now, with their move, they are attacking our pawn. So we are just simply going to defend it. And I'm just looking for the most basic position possible, which means we will be developing a knight. I will be developing a bishop. And I am going to castle. I am literally not looking for anything else. And we both have castled, so that is basically step 1 complete. Although this is the easiest part, this is already where so many players go wrong. Because instead of playing something simple, safe, castle, just like we did here, they try to memorize some tricky lines, some gambit, maybe some knight sacrifice or an early checkmate attack, but that is completely the wrong way to play chess. This is what we need to do, exactly what I have shown you here. Just develop, be safe, and castle. Then we are now in the middle game. And in the middle game, we will be using step 2 and step 3 over and over again until at some point we are clearly up material. So what is step 2 and step 3? Step 2 is that whenever they make a move, we need to look at their move first and see what is this doing. It's just castling, so we don't need to worry about anything. And then it's our turn to move. When it is our turn to move, we are mostly going to focus on playing with our pieces or playing with the E, D, and C pawns. That is what we are going to do in the middle game. So what I will play here is I will play pawn to C6 because this also helps to protect the center, which is very important here because this bishop of theirs is on this diagonal. So that is something we always want to have a look at. And what we need to do here is we need to over and over again use step 2 and step 3. So step 2, we need to look at what they are doing. Okay, they are setting up a little bit of an attack, also defending this pawn with the queen. All right. And then step 3 is we need to find a move. So we want to play with our pieces or with our E, D, or C pawn. So I'm looking to make a move. I think our center is already good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get more pieces into the game, which is why I am going to play here this knight to D7. Sometimes there are other pawn moves which we might play that can also be useful. For example, here they are trying to attack our knight with a bishop. It could be useful here to play h6 to attack the bishop. I mostly do this against fianchetto setups. What means that if we push and they go back to h4, we would just simply have pawn to g5 and that bishop would be trapped. So that is why I like this against fianchetto setups, because basically my opponent just wasted the move. They cannot go here. They either have to go back or they have to trade. Okay, we need to figure out a way to recapture. I will most definitely be replacing my knight with a knight, because now I'm also influencing the center and my queen has a little bit more breathing room here on the d file. So again, always step 2 and step 3. What did they just do? They played a knight. Okay, yeah, it's helping them with the center. Our turn, I think our pawns are still solid. I will start improving my pieces a little bit, which improving the pieces, in my opinion, means we need to try every piece. We need to try to use every piece at least once before we start doing something else. So I'm trying to get all of my pieces into the game. Knight to e5. What is this doing? Well, yeah, it's attacking a couple of squares in our position. I don't think we want to have this knight there forever. That's definitely something we will need to deal with. Yeah, I think we can maybe get the rook into the game. We can just play rook to e8. Okay. I think we could have also played rook to d8. Doesn't really matter. And they move the rook. Okay, so again, I'm looking at their move. What are they doing? I don't see much. Maybe they will play something in the center with the pawn. I guess it's okay anyways. So it's our turn to move. When I'm looking at my position here, I do see we have a little bit of a problem going on, and that is that this bishop is quite passive. It's basically completely locked in the position, which means I either have to play b6, which I don't really want to do, because if I can, I'll just keep the pawn there. It's not one of my ED or C pawns. I can always go here with the bishop, but you know, it's not really doing much. The bishop is just stuck here as well. And as long as this bishop doesn't move, the rook is also a bit useless. I mean, yes, we can play rook to b8, but is it really doing anything there? I don't think so. So it's time to calculate a little bit, but what we can also do is we can use our ED or C pawns. Again, it's not because we have used them once that we are now just stuck in this position forever. So I am thinking about a move like C5, because C5 attacks the center. If they take, I will be very happy, because that is a free knight. Yeah, and if they take in the center, I think it's also okay, because finally things are opening up a little bit, and that is really what we need here, because if we play very cramped, like we have been doing on all of these moves, it won't really turn out great for us. Okay, they play queen to c3, I guess because they want to protect that pawn. I will definitely be capturing here because I want to open it up a little bit so I have a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more space to place my pieces. And what we want to do is also not only optimize our pieces by moving them once, but we want to eventually keep moving them to better and better squares, and that is how we are going to slowly improve our position. So one of the things I am currently looking at here is bishop to c5, because this also attacks the queen, and once they move the queen, our bishop is on a better square. One thing I also have to mention is some positions are more tactical in nature, meaning, for example, here. And I say that because there is a lot of things going on. This knight is under attack, this pawn is under attack, the queen is in the center. There's a lot going on here, which means we might have a tactic. And the best way to find a tactic is to go through the CCT steps. So checks, captures, threats. Meaning we first see, do we have any check? No. Then we see, do we have captures? Yes, so we need to look at the captures. This blunders the queen, but okay. That at least forces us to look at the fact that we are attacking this knight. This, I think, we just grab a pawn and they, yeah, go forward with the knight. So the captures are not really helping us. This is a threat. We are threatening to win the queen. So this is what I'm going to play. I'm not yet sure if this will be a tactic, but this might be a tactic in the future. Okay, and they move the queen. All right. So again, checks. Yes, we have a check. We can sack the bishop. Okay, I don't see a follow-up. Well, yeah, you could say maybe there's some follow-up, but yeah, it's not going to work with the knight and bishop there. So it's not a check. We still have this capture, but yeah, we still lose the queen. Maybe we have a threat. We can play the move pawn to d4. That's a threat on the queen, so the queen has to move. And I think once the queen moves, we will simply be winning this knight. So yes, I will definitely play this move. Yeah, they move the queen. Okay. Okay, they have a little bit of a counterattack, but we are winning a knight. So this is exactly what we need to do. Step 2, step 3, step 2, step 3. Every time look at their move, and then when it's our turn to move, we improve, we play with the EDC pawn, we improve the pieces, and we try to do the CCT to see if we have a tactic when we think there might be a tactic available. Now, we are already in this position. We are at step 4. This is the final step. The final step starts whenever you are up material. And here we are just up a knight, a clean knight. We are just up a full knight. So this means we have to go into the final stage of the game. And the final stage of the game is that we want to see if we can trade every single piece, because we are just going to have an endgame where we have an extra bishop, and that's going to be extremely easy for us to win an endgame with an extra bishop. So I'm looking for trades. So I'm looking for good moves here. I'm not really sure if there is any way that we can trade pieces. I think what I'm going to do first is just stabilize or center. Okay, and they go for bishop takes b7, which I actually think is a blunder, because we have rook to b8 and this pins the bishop to the queen. It looks to me like this is just completely game over. Yeah, this is just completely game over. They blundered another piece, and here we even got to take the queen for free. So yeah, now we have 6 points of material advantage instead of 3, so that's even better. So this is going great for our final stage of the game. As always, I am looking for trades. So whenever they allow me a trade, they just allowed me a trade, I am going to trade. That's the plan. And if we don't see trades in this endgame, the best thing to usually do is to start pushing your pawns, because with every single move that your pawns get closer to the end of the board, to the back rank, that's one move closer to promotion. Even if even if, for example, here I am literally just blundering a pawn as well. But I really don't care at this point, because if you are up this much material, you can do whatever you want. Plus, yeah, we are promoting. There is no way for them to stop it, so they can't even take it. So I think this should be very easy. I think we should have some way to try to force the pawn promotion. I'm looking. They can block it with the king. Okay, we have a check. It's just trading, but I think it's okay. And I think we might even have a checkmate here somewhere. I don't know if we have one. I don't really see a good way here to do a checkmate, so I guess I'm just going to start grabbing some free pawns. Okay, that's a check. And that's a free pawn. And now I will do my most favorite move in any endgame, and that is sacrificing. Sacrificing material to get rid of their final piece. Because the moment that their last piece is gone, that means they have nothing. They have no possible way of counterplay. So even if we are losing material with the exchange, that's great. And of course, I hope that you realize that something like this is extremely easy. We just need to make a queen. And here we will be able to do quite a quick checkmate. What I always like to do is I just like to create a box for the king, and then we are going to checkmate. Here we can win that pawn, so let's just win it. Okay, and then this should be very easy. I won't demonstrate how to do it, I hope you know, but here you should be able to eventually deliver a checkmate. So please try to follow this 4-step strategy in one of your games and let me know how it went.